Alrighty. What was that? What did she say? Yes. And we're also, I was reading something that this group that I'm a part of had posted that from the 4th to the 7th, there was this solar activity and there were these flares that came up. Now I've been trained from the kiddo that all the new codes are going to come in through the sun. So all the downloads, and so it was interesting that this article is kind of saying what I had been taught, is that the sun energy from the 4th to the 7th, and through this 3 days of the, but that it was this intense sun that was giving downloads before we go back into the lion's portal. So lion's portal, yes. So this other influx of energy. So we got all these influxes of energy all coming together, at the same time. So as we know, then that means it's going to be a powerful ceremony. We're being given an opportunity to really be able to get that jet fuel behind our prayers, behind our intentions. As always, I always say, and for anyone new that may end up seeing this on YouTube down the road, is I am nothing more than a channel. So what comes through is that ceremonies always, there's nothing that I'm doing. I'm creating sacred space. I am creating an avenue for which you can be one with the divine. You can be one with your higher self. Because to say that I'm doing anything or that the ceremony is doing anything is negating your power. It's negating what your influence is on your life. Because we don't want to keep, I think what's very important from what I keep hearing is that in these new days, you have to be self-sourcing. It's going to have to come from within. So for me, I guess why I've always laid low in teaching or coming out there is because to me, my job or what God put me on this planet is how do I empower people to find it on their own? How do I empower people to find it through ceremonies, to find it through ritual? Because as someone who has battled depression, amongst other things, her whole life, or any other healer or reader is not going to be in your room in the middle of the night when you're at battle with your demons. Or when you hit rock bottom. Like, yes, you can call someone, but you still have to self-source enough to be able to have the energy and the courage and that push to be able to even pick up the phone, to be able to, because when you hit those, and we're going to go through them right now, like if anyone had the pandemic, it's valleys and peaks right now. And so it's in both of them that we have learning. And so what Spirit's telling me right now is part of what tonight is Spirit's going to encourage you is to really even that much further fortify your connection with Source, fortify your connection with your higher self. Because I'm more than always willing to, if someone is struggling to pick up the phone and talk to me or to reach out. But, how did we do that for ourselves? And I know that's been a huge piece for me of my learning through this pandemic is how, and I can't say that I've been 100% great with it, to be able to pick myself up. But I know that I'm still here and I'm still bringing ceremony forward, even though at times, my internal, I was watching Amanda Ellis today, and she was saying this new moon is about you have to say no to that saboteur within you. That right now is the time to pick up and go. It's the time to no longer say no, or that can't happen. I can't do that. This can't. So it's time to really pick up and move. But it's very interesting. I picked 2 cards yesterday from Rebecca Campbell's Soul Starseed cards. And the first one was basically the void, like, oh, you have to be you're in the quiet phase, you're in this dark phase, you're in this time of rebirth. recharge, don't move forward. And then the next card was literally like, get up and freaking move. Like, what are you doing? Say yes. I'm like, oh my God. Like, but that's the world right now, right? It's so dualistic. Like, so within 2 cards, well, because I said, well, what's coming out of the void? What can I expect? And it was like, basically do things like I'm like, oh my God. Like, and so that's the way my brain has been functioning. And I'm sure everyone's has. And so that's what I kind of liked about listening to her thoughts on this Cancer new moon, is that, you know, we have to really learn how to silence that voice that is really trying to prevent us from moving forward, is really trying to prevent us from opening up to that light that's available, those codes that are coming in, this new way of being, this way of being in the light, and the light is love, right? So how do we step into that place of love? How do we step into that place, and how do we really stay there and live there? And so it's exciting times, and it's you know, it can be scary times, but all that means is we just got to bring up even that much more courage. And fear is actually, there's the one card on Rebecca, and I can't remember what it is, but I love it when it's view on fear, is that fear means you're on to something. If you weren't in fear, it would mean that you weren't about to make a change, that something wasn't up big enough to challenge that innards of you. Because I was listening to a podcast coming home from the studio today, and it was just, you know, it was Eckhart Tolle, like, you will not grow without adversity. You just won't, because why would you? Like, you know, it's adversity that makes us change and grow. And so, but may our adversity be as gentle as possible. Like, so to me, that's part of my prayer, is not to have to turn my life upside down with all these new changes. I know that it's going to change a lot of things. I mean, and that was the other thing she was talking about today in her thing, is part of what the angst is because we don't know what it is, right? Like, really, I don't care who the seer is right now. They're not really seeing the whole picture. We're not getting that. You know, we're not getting the whole piece, because to me, it's still in that place of the void. It's still in that place of birthing. So in some ways, that's very exciting and very scary at the same time, because we're going through all these changes, and we're going through all these deaths within ourselves and outside of ourselves, but we still don't know what that rebirth's really going to look like. But that's where the Spirit's saying, that's where surrender, trust, and faith come in. And so how do we really tap into that place of faith and trust that it's all unfolding in our highest good, right? So, and the more that we can get in alignment with our higher self, is the more that we know the universe will conspire on our behalf. So then we don't have to keep going over these hurdles and making mountains out of molehills. So we don't have to do that so much, as to understand, okay, that little molehill's up because it's there for me to grow. It's that little bit of adversity, or that little nudge that's making me, how do I look at this in a different way? How do I view it in a different way? How do I use this? And, you know, there's no time more than ever is that phrase that I learned, that nothing's happening to you, it's happening for you. And that can be the most challenging sentence you ever hear, especially when you're in the thick of it, because you're like, fuck you. Like, but it's so true. Like, you know, so if we could view everything happening in the world right now, so it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. Once again, going back to my original point, it goes back to that place of putting you back in power. Because when you look at it that way, you're not a victim. When you look at it that way, you're not a victim of circumstance or a victim of a person. It's saying that Spirit has brought this lesson to you because Spirit loves you enough for you to grow and expand. I want you to get on the other side of this, because it's stopping you. You know, it's the limiting belief, or the limiting thought, or the limiting situation or recurring theme that keeps happening in your life that's preventing you from stepping in and being all that we're here to be. And really all we're here to be is love and light. The rest is illusion. So, but we really got sucked into this illusion, right? Big time. So if you viewed it as a big soap opera, like, You know, do you want to attach to the drama, or can you pull back enough not to get, that's why, you know, people that look at a train wreck, or that's why I really don't watch reality TV, because first off, most of it's scripted anyway, but it's scripted to create drama. And it has always bothered me ever since reality TV came out, because I'm like, Spirit kept telling me, like, look at what the world's doing. Like, they're seeing this as entertainment. They're seeing someone falling on their face as this is entertainment. That's not entertaining. We are here to be loving, compassionate beings, and that was not promoting loving and compassionate. Or, to me, reality TV is what created the last 4 years of a presidency, is because we made that be what's real. Like, if someone puts on enough of a show, and someone, and I'm not knocking him, I'm just saying he was a showman. Like, he wasn't a politician. You know, he didn't even understand what he was doing. But we wanted a showman, and we wanted someone to say they were going to save us, because we don't have faith that we can do that for ourselves. And that's what's sad. And that's what everyone bought into, is because, you know, as human, like, we're, especially American humans, we're freaking lazy. Like, you know, if you're going to do it for me, great. You know, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't get my hands messy. You know, you hear that expression all the time. I don't want to get my hands messy. What does that mean? Because your life, you have to get your hands messy. Birth is messy. You know, that's what, when the world started unfolding as it was, and I would sit with Spirit and be like, what the hell? Like, what? Look at this world. And Spirit would be very clear. What birth doesn't have pain. Like, what birth doesn't have, there's pain, there's blood, there's, you know, there's all these things associated with, and there's beauty and there's joy. Like, you know, you can't go through a birthing experience without having contraction. So I don't know. And I guess I just fell into the whole, I'm like, honey, Age of Aquarian thing, where I thought it'd be like, we'd all be coming in singing Kumbaya. And it just did not happen. Like, and I should have known through learning my spirituality more through a indigenous way. You know, you don't kumbaya through anything. They'd be like, well, how am I going to learn this lesson? They're like, sweep the floor, clean the pots. Like, there's no glamour. Like, it's do the dishes, you know, build the lodge, dig the latrine. Like, you know, it isn't you sit there cross-legged and be like, oh, it's not happening. Like, you're in there, you're head up. There's a funny story. Angelo isn't on here, but most of you know Angelo. So Angelo does the sound healing at Solutions. And Angelo is the epitome of your Italian South Philly. His hair is always pumped and perfect. And I mean, this was way before he even did sound healing. Like, I'm talking, me and Ange go back a long time, 30 years. So we were all starting out, and we just got introduced to ceremony, and somehow we all end up in Texas on a ranch, going to do this big ceremony. All these elders coming in, and Ange was there a week before me. So I show up, and my girlfriend, who I went to go visit in San Antonio, was very nervous that she's sending me with the Indians. Like, she doesn't know what's going to happen, and she doesn't know how she feels about it, and she's very concerned, right? Especially as we're going on this land and there's buffalo to like, just, she was very concerned. The first person we see is Angelo. Angelo is full of dirt. His friggin' eyes were this big, like saucers. His hair was like standing out, and even I was taken back, and I know Angelo, and I went, and I'm like, Ange, because I was just coming off a big vacation before I hit the land. I'm like, Angelo, what happened to you? And my girlfriend was like, I was 2 seconds away from, I don't care what you said, turning around and peeling out of that driveway. She goes, because I was scared for you. And Angela's just like, because it's what Angela had been doing, where you sort of taking the tree, like, you know. Yeah, so Angela looked like, definitely like not someone touched by spirit. Like where he was like, oh, Angela looked like, I was scared a little. I was just like, oh my God, what happens here? I've been in a lot of lodges. I've been on a vision class, but what the hell's happening on this land? Like, Ange does not look good. And I even went into the office, and Michelle's eyes were big, and like she had lost it. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, please tell me when I find Maria, she'll be. But yeah, so that's how it works when you're working the indigenous way. You don't get that little fun little thing. Like you're in the grid, and you're forced to work through it. You're forced to, and it's actually great for someone like me that's mind can be very getting your way because you don't have time. Like you're literally so tired because you're getting worked to the bone. Like they at night you just fall down on the ground. It's like you're like out cold. And then you wake up and you start working again. But it's through those simple, and that's what ceremony teaches us, right? And that's what I try to teach people is that ceremony isn't just here. Ceremony is here. And this is the part of ceremony. But then how do we take this into every day? How do we walk our talk? How do we bring ceremony into our daily lives? How do we become a walking prayer? How do we become, like with that way of life, a walking pipe? How do you work with that medicine? Like, how do I become a walking mesa? Like, how do I bring that medicine that is me into the world, not to heal someone, it's not my job, but my job is to help awaken that healing ability within a person. And that's what, I mean, a lot of healers get pissed when I say this, but I don't care, is that if someone comes up and says they're going to heal you, I say run. I say run as far as and as fast as you can. Because first off, if anyone's been in recovery or tried to come over something, you can get as many rehabs as you want, but until you're ready to get on the other side, you're not doing it. Like you're just spending a lot of money. You might get a break from doing whatever it is for a period of time. But until you sit with your devil, with your demon inside, and you work that out, which I've done 2 or 3 times in my life, through cigarettes, through drugs, like, so, and until you do that, it's not going to work. So the same thing, like, I'm sure all those people in rehabs want to be a healer for someone, but they can't. So, and even if someone gives you so classic example, my father had a really bad shoulder thing going on. And I'll give that my parents respected me enough to come to ceremony because they loved me. Wasn't their way of life, but they would come. If thunder came in town, they'd come. They actually sat in a sweat lodge for my wedding. It wasn't the most comfortable thing for any of them, but they did. It's their only one, but they did it. I forget who was Thunder, the guy that was traveling around one time. He's blind, partially blind. He had a wife. Well, I forget his name now. Michelle would remember. But then it was an elder, yeah. But he came through, and he was at the when Thunder one time when Michelle had her at one of the hotels. He was there, and my dad came. And so my dad had this really bad shoulder thing, right? So he came over, and I don't know what made this guy be able to. He sensed it in my dad. He came over and he said, "Can I do some work on your shoulder with an eagle feather?" My dad said, "Okay." So he worked on my dad's arm, shoulder, worked, left, didn't really say anything because that's what they do. Yeah, good to talk about it. My dad had no pain for, I don't know, say a week. Well, my dad brought it back because first off, he didn't believe it. Like he thought he didn't accept the healing, which was more through spirit than this person, because this person wasn't trying to heal you. He was just working with the feather. And my dad received the healing, but because he didn't either feel worthy of it or didn't feel like it could have stuck, it all came back. And in actuality, that's what he ended up dying from years later. There was an infection in his arm that no one knew about at the time that just went throughout his entire system. But he was pain-free for a week. So that's where it goes back to healing can't occur. So I'm not saying you should never go to a healer, but to understand that it's not them. So if someone says, I am going to, instead of the spirit is going to through me, there's a lot of ego behind that. Like there's just way too much of them getting in the way or them directing a healing in a way that they think is the best for you instead of with spirit. I remember going through my training in the beginning, and they're like, if you're going to do a healing on someone, someone has to realize that a healing could mean death. You know, everyone goes to a healer expecting to come out and feel like they did when they were 12, like, you know, or a teenager, or your healing may be crossing over, you know. So I would always tell people, you know, if you're going to ask for healing, understand you can't dictate how it's going to be, and I can't dictate how it's going to be. So if you're going to allow that spirit to come through, I know that spirit's only answer is yes. So if you're really going to be open to whatever comes through and accept that, no one knows what it's going to turn out to be. Like, and that's where if someone's, and I don't know why, so maybe someone's going to do something I've known, or go to someone, I don't know why I'm sharing this, but to understand that you need to go to someone that clearly understands that they're just a vessel, and that's it. What? Yeah. So it's just you. That's why I just say, if someone comes up to me and says, I am are the most powerful statement going to heal you, run. Because they can't do it. And they're imposing something on you. They, you know, because as much as I am in ceremony, or my personality still comes through. I mean, I try like a Dickens to make it step outside of myself, but it still has to come through my body, right? So, but I tried to be, and that's why even going to someone's ceremony, you got to understand, what did they do to get there? Because they have to be able to be as hollow of a bone when they're doing ceremony, so that candy can't come through me. Like, if that makes sense. So you want to go to someone that's done a lot of their work so that they can separate themselves, because generally what I'm saying in ceremonies, I think I need to hear more than probably anyone else, because in my waking 3D world, I fall into where everyone in the world is, right? So I replay these and listen, because I'm like, that was spirit talking to me, like, you know, and maybe it meant something for you guys too. That's great. But generally, you know, a teacher teaches what they need to learn, right? So I have no idea why that just all came out. You don't know. I just opened up, and so someone needed to hear that. But I think the biggest takeaway is to realize that we are all co-creators. We are all God, you know, all of us. So anything that we need outside of ourselves, or we believe we need from outside of ourselves, is all within ourselves. You know, we are perfect. We are divine as we are. You know, we are expressions of God. We've just forgotten that. You know, when I was really young, it was actually at a Course in Miracles conference, and this guy was just saying, like, you know, you want to be the person that can spark the Christ in someone else, that you're able to look into someone's eyes, and even if they've forgotten that that is who they can be, that you can look at them in a way. And actually, it goes into our card that I'm going to read in a minute about no judgment. If you can look at them and just see the Christ within them, and they look at you and they recognize that, that awakens that in them. That's how he was explaining this. Someone who had stepped away from church for a lot of reasons. But I loved the ritual of church. You know, it hurt for me to actually not be a part of that ritual anymore. So that's why I loved when I found ceremony, because I'd been disconnected for so long. But I loved his description of why Christ created miracles or did healings. And it goes exactly with what I was saying. It's not that he did anything other than was able to look at someone. Like when he looked at the blind man, he did not see blindness, because in the eyes of God, there is no blindness, right? Everyone is whole. So that blind man believed it in that moment of himself, and in that minute was healed. So what Christ did was awaken the divinity within each person, because it's there. Like the rest is what we bought into an illusion. So this separation, this break from God, this break from love, this from worthiness. So it's a very interesting thought system, and I have no idea why we went there, and I guess we're going to find out when spirit keeps going. But for me, I'm very grateful for my training, for the elders I've worked with, very grateful for the lineages that I follow, both North and South American, and the sacrifices that they've made in their life so that I can bring this prayer. Because I know that ceremony has saved my life 1,000 times over. I can honestly, with 100% certainty, say I would not be here if it weren't for ceremony. And so that's why it was always a gift that I was always grateful to bring, because when we kind of disconnected from the North American, and I once again had no ceremony in my life, it was very hard for me, because and it made me have to learn, how do I create ceremony within myself. But I love the external, the ritual. It's just fun, and it's fun to be in community. It's fun to be in that group and have that vortex of energy get created, and really be able to work with that and to be in that. And so, for all of you, or for anyone new, the first time I sat in a sweat lodge, it was begrudgingly. I had no desire to sit in a sweat lodge, because I was a city girl, and I'm like, who the frig wants to sit in a hot tent and be in mud and crawl in there? Just did not sound appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. But my girlfriend was getting married, and she was getting married, through our teacher, Mary Thunder, and part of it is you do a sweat lodge before, and I'm a hairdresser. So I'm like, look, I'll be part of it. I'll do your hair. I won't do the rest. She's like, no, I really want you to do all of it with me. Okay. And when they closed the door, I just started bawling my eyes out. They started to sing a song, and I just was crying and crying and crying. And all spirit kept saying to me was, you're home. You're home. And it was so, I could literally feel myself exhale. I didn't realize that I'd been holding my breath probably since I was, I guess my break from the church was probably in 7th or 8th grade, and I was in Catholic school, so imagine how hard that was. So it was a long time. We're talking then, it was I was 23. So it's a lot of years, a lot of being lost. And then since then, so it was funny how you evolve as you heal and grow, because I was always thought it was the ceremony, right? The lodge, that's home. And just recently through COVID, through doing my internal work, when I couldn't do any external ceremonies, I know Zoom is limiting, but I'm very grateful to Zoom to have been able to stay connected with us all in this way and to still do ceremony. But I ended up coming to the next level of understanding was home was here, the sacredness within me, that the divine masculine and the feminine that live within me. In that moment, I reawakened that. I was too, I guess, damaged then still to understand that. So spirit made it sound like home is something outside of me, so that I would keep going. Because I know at that point I would have never felt worthy enough, or that could have been me. So it's been it's so funny, because people will say, well, I heard that. And I laugh, because there's so many things that I heard. And then when it's years later and I've worked with it, I realized that that's not at all what I was being told. But because you're always looking it through the lens of where you're at, okay, so we can all sit in here and I said the same thing. Everyone's going to have a different perception of what they heard, how they heard it, and what it meant for them. Because you're going to hear it at the level at where you are, right? So when I heard this is home, I heard it at the level of someone at that time that was still very angry, very hated men, hated the church, I'd been very hurt. So I was a very hurt. And instead of being cowering, my personality, because where I grew up was more of I would fight my way out of it, wasn't fight or flight. I wasn't a fighter as a fighter. So it would be more rage and anger that would come up in me. So it was just the beginning of healing and chipping away at that. So I guess what Spirit's trying to tell you right now is honor where you're at too. And that was part of actually something that I was reading. I think that's actually part of this card too, is that, you know, don't judge yourself where someone else is in their journey or who they are or what they do. I do it all the time. Like, I'm like, you know, why aren't I teaching? Like, why do I not do like blah, blah, blah? Like, because they know more. Because I'm just not. And I don't know why I'm not. And maybe that is my shortcoming, and who knows? And who knows where I'll be a year from now. But I will go into such judgment about myself over that. And, or, you know, financially, you know, I'm a good person. Why, like, why financially are things the way that, like, there's all these games we play, right, with ourselves. And, but I do know that one thing, and this was when Jorge was here. Do you know 3 years ago, we were in Peru. Mm-hmm. So 3 years ago, we were in Peru with Jorge. And yeah, it was amazing. And so I'm actually watching now because Jorge started doing tours again. So I'm watching where people are popping up, and I go, oh, I remember being there. Oh, I remember, because, you know, he's tagged in it, so I say it. And each day, one of the memories comes up, and it's that, and it's me and Johanna somewhere, like at some site, and it's like, oh. That actually, I was just reading a thing about that. Is, you know, the more that we can go into these power places, like where these ley lines are, is the more that it awakens the Akashic records within us. So I was thinking, and they were talking, I think they were saying Machu Picchu, this one thing, and I don't even know. I get very lost when they get too wordy or too esoteric, but this guy was connecting the second chakra with Machu Picchu. And I don't know why. Like, the first one was Mount Shasta. I don't even know what the other ones were. To be honest with you, I don't remember. But that was like the sacral, which I thought was interesting because, like, in our training, the sacrals are Cusco, you know. So and then I always think of Cusco, even though it's not technically Cusco. But you know, that seat of power, that seat of creation. So I was like, well, then I've definitely had that ley line activated quite a few times. Been there 4 times now. I love it. But so, you know, all those different ways of how do we activate the sacred within us? How do we work, and how do we bring that up? And I think tonight we're going to work with that. I don't know. We'll see what happens in that journey. And trying to hold out, waiting for honey. I'm not just babbling, but no, there. Honey's never showed up. Honey's been to our house. Johanna's graduation, I think. That was it. So what I'm going to do is we'll open directions. We'll light the altar. I'll read the card. And I think how we're going to do it is everyone here, just as if when we were in person, we're all going to pick our goddess card. So with Lynn and Sean, Debbie and Gail, Wade and Johanna. So we're gonna do the goddess cards, and what I will do with your permission is ask if with your permission, I'll ask you if you would like me to pick a card for you. I'll pick it for you. Johanna will bring it up so that you can see your goddess. And then when we go in, like we would do before, to go do the journey, you'll know what goddess you're bringing with you. And I'll put them on the altar and do our work with them. And then when we're doing the release, Johanna can hold the petals up to the screen. You can blow in your release. I can then do clearing work on you. And then we'll hold up the white petals. Does that sound comfortable to you guys? Thumbs up, thumbs up. And when Honey jumps in, we'll just fill her in. Plus, Honey will just check out and go wherever Honey goes in her head anyway. So it really doesn't matter. Honey's going to have her own water ceremony anyway. We know that. So I surrendered to it. I don't take it personal anymore. Yeah, Honey's Honey. And I just know I would take it personal if I didn't start out my beginning journey of spirituality with Honey in a meditation group. God, it was probably 30 years ago now. And we would come out and Michelle would be like, Sarah and Honey would be like, I saw, like it had nothing to do with what we did. I saw colors and I saw this and I painted this, because she was still just in her artist mind back then. And she'd be like, and we'd be like, Honey, that's not what we did. she'd be like, but I went, and we're like, okay. She'd be like, what did we do? Like, where were we? And it was like, oh, forget it. So, and then Mike, you all know Mike, right? From the Paul. He would just snore. Like he would do this whole yawn snore thing, and it'd be like, so yeah, it was funny. Our meditation group was very funny. It was quite comical. But we had a lot of fun. So we will open directions. And so for Debbie, directions are, I'm going to call in organizing principles, energies, and I'll call them in as animals. You don't have to do that. You can, we'll be calling it in, but it's the same as calling in archangels.
Right.
I'm just going to call them in as that. So we call in the directions, Pachamama, and then Father, Son, and the great mysteries. And you can sit, you can stand. I just suggest everyone, especially the first time, just close your eyes and see what comes at you. I'll call them in and call in. They're kind of blank, the blanket energies, but everyone else gets their own gifts from them. Like everyone else gets something different from each direction. So close your eyes and see what comes in for you. Like what support's going to come in for you from, and we start in the south because this is Peruvian. So I won't start in the east, like here.
Right.
So to understand, that's why I'm starting in the south. So you can stand or sit, it's completely up to you. Remember the south, the great serpent, thank you for wrapping your coiled light around us. Thank you for helping us shed our past the way you shed your skin in one clean swoop. Help us to stay out of that place of suffering and step into that place of impeccability. Help us to learn to lay belly to belly with the mother. Thank you so much. And thank you for any and all healing that will occur on the physical level. Holy. Thank you for mulching lavish and longer serves. Oh, thank you so much for teaching us how to go over that rainbow bridge. How to have one foot in this road and one foot in the next. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this place of learning how to live fearlessly. And thank you for teaching us how to be peaceful, luminous warriors so that we can learn how to walk on this planet and not leave a footprint. And thank you for any and all healing that will occur on the emotional level. The lands of the north, Pacific Integrated, Hummingbird, grandmothers and grandmothers and ancient ones, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this place of imagery. Thank you for this place of stillness and flight. Thank you for teaching us how to be the eye in the center of the storm. Thank you for teaching us how to drink directly from the sweet nectar of life, so that we no longer source from places that no longer feed us. Thank you for helping us learn this new mythic map for our life. Help us to learn the mystery and the beauty. To the winds of the east, great eagle, condor, Rocco team, you fly wing to wing with the great mystery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking us to the mountains that we only dared to dream of. Thank you for teaching us how to fly wingtip to wingtip with the great mystery. Thank you for teaching us eagle vision. Help us to continue to see all the limitless possibilities available at all times, so that we once and for all step out of that place of being hated and step into that place of our destiny. Mama, great mother, thank you for coming here for the healing of all your children.
two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy, the fry, the thin, the fur, the winged. Thank you. Thank you for being a true alchemist and taking that with all your stars during the baptism and gets the gold. Thank you for that place of foundation in the earth. Thank you for that place of giving us everything that we need to sustain on this planet. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being patient with us as a species and leaving us on your back yet another day. Oh. Oh, thank you for the hearts and minds and souls of everyone in this circle. Please whisper your hearts. Please help us to tap into that place of the divine, that place of the divinity that lives within ourselves. And I ask you to help me to be a hollow bone, help me to be an instrument. I thank you for this opportunity, and I humbly thank you to be able to facilitate ceremony yet again. And I thank all the ancestors and ancient ones that went before me and sacrificed their lives so that I can. So you can feel how the energy now shifted in the room.
So this creates a sacred space, so that we have the ability to be able to open ourselves up and to get as vulnerable as you can and know you're protected. Why is it not working? All right. Sean had to run out, so I'm going to give him a minute. And I wanted everyone to see on the altar, I have the Mother Earth cradling the earth. I was going to put Kuan Yin on there, but it felt like in this place of us being in this place of birthing, that it was she's who wanted to be with us. Sean is back. So while the cards are going around, you're just going to blow the intention or knock the intention, however you do it. And you're just going to ask which goddess wants to take you on a journey, that wants to be your assistant, that wants to be your ally and work with you through the journey that we do to help you find the places that are up to be released, find the places, new seeds that are here for you to work with and to bring into your life. Being guides, wait a minute, let everyone pick in silence to get still. And we have our Lemurian sphere on the altar to tap into those codes, those Lemurian codes. And I have my celestite little chunk that I use that is my personal moonstone with a Herkimer diamond on top, so that whatever energy we're working with gets magnified. I have the Chunta stone from Peru, where I got it 3 years ago, with the eagle on it and the baby condor feathers. So that's sacred, the sacred wood. from Peru. And I was meant to talk about today because I always do it, and I don't know that I talked to anyone about it because I said it, but there are 4 hearts, like in the directional corners. One's from Sedona. The one in the front was, I was actually struggling and have a really hard time, and Honey took me to Bays a couple years back, and I bought that heart, pink heart. You can't really see it up there, but there it is. And I don't even know what the crystal is, but I just know that it spoke to me. And then I got my to take your negativity, male, female, the mushroom chalcedony. It's funny because Honey was never drawn to them, so we walked in there because I was in such a dark place that Spirit took me right to them, and I'm like, "What are these?" And sorry, stones. They're really ugly. Like, they're not pretty. They look like little brown pieces of turd, actually, in some ways. And all I knew is I went right to them and I go, "What are these? I gotta have them." And Honey's like, "Oh, I always see them, but I'm not really." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna buy one." Like, and so it was funny. We ended up buying 4 without even realizing it. And when we went back to the store, Honey looked it up and she was like, "These are mushroom chalcedony," and that it was about the male and the female, and that they would come together, and one's a masculine, one's a feminine. So it was ironic that we actually bought them, and I had grabbed my 2, and the one looks masculine, well, but the way the shapes are, and they kind of go together, and so I use them in ceremony to help, like, with any negativity or anything that's coming out. But I actually keep them in my pocket, especially at work, because I work with the public, and then rinse them out every night in water. But I always have them with me to be my ally, to work with me. So they're on there. But in between those stones, and then the other 2 stones are heart stones I found in Peru. So to me, it's like I take this sacred water and it's like it is in Peru, like sitting on. But I do 4, like, let me get it clear. I mean, I always do it. I don't think about it. I just do what Spirit tells me. But today, Spirit was very clear in what I needed to tell you all. So from each one, there are 7 pieces of rose quartz in each quadrant, which is significant to me with our North American tradition. But it's like, it's taking us on that road between, because we all go through the medicine wheel each day in our life. You know, we're all through the summer of our life, the winter of our life, you know, the spring of our life. So to know that when we're doing ceremony, we are literally creating a path of that path of unconditional love, that path of gentleness, that if we choose, we can use that to move from each direction. And so that's the intention behind why that's underneath where we put our prayers, is that that's how I want our prayers to be held. And then in front of it, like at the store, I would always have the selenite, the 4 like around the altar, just to really hold it and bring in that angelic, that very white light. I don't have 4 pieces here. There is one that is in front of the altar. So there's that. So that when you're coming into here, you're infused with all that white angelic white light. So I'm going to do Ashley first. So Ashley, I want you to put your intention in and tell me when you're ready, and I'll pick for you. You can give me a thumbs up or whatever. You can say it too.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So it's Maeve.
Thank you.
Do you want to read it to her?
Yes. Cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Sometimes you're going to be like,
Hi.
Maeve. Cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions.
Thank you.
could you hear it that time?
Uh-huh.
I know it's weird if you get close to it. I don't know why Zoom does that. Okay, so then if you can put that here, here, Okay, Carol, are you ready? Nice. Guinevere, true love.
True love, the romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you.
I am going to pick one. And maybe Honey's having a very much needed time with her granddaughter and daughter-in-law. Yes. Grace, I know you're joining us tomorrow, so I'm going to tell you. I know you'd give me permission, so we'll pick your goddess. Thanks for reminding me. I know I wanted to. Is it a storm?
Could be blue.
Oh, Yemanya, golden opportunity, and Johanna will put it up so you can see it, but I'll send you a picture too later.
Golden opportunity, important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them.
Okay. Linda reminded me that I'm going to pick one for anyone else that ends up stumbling upon this on YouTube or wasn't able to make it tonight and would like to join in. Sure. Damara, it's guiding children. You're good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So you would call in Damara. Well, you'll see when we go into the meditation journey. Call it up. But that is, I always look at it as that's who your higher self picked for you to bring you on your journey. Alrighty. So I'll read the, oh, someone said something else. What deck? It's the Doreen Virtue Goddess cards. So I'm gonna have you close your eyes. You know what? We're not doing it yet. Wait a minute. We're gonna get grounded first so that we're completely leave our bodies and our minds. I'm really sticking to the plastic. So let's take 3 cleansing breaths in, releasing breaths out. All my talk, all my yakking, your day, your week, could be your year. Just let it all go. Breathe in and feel that release from all your cells. Feel your body starting to settle into either your chair or if you're laying down. From the soles of your feet or through your bottom of your spine, see roots growing down into the earth. Going down into the belly of the mother, going past the bedrock. Going down until you hit her molten core. That thick, rich energy of the mother. It's so nutrient filled, so life enhancing. And just literally feel the tips of those roots go down and start to drink from her nectar. And start to pulse her energy up through these roots, feeling yourself grounded, feeling yourself really held, really strong foundation of this nurturing energy, and feel it come up through the roots. Up through your feet or through the bottom of your spine, going up into your root chakra. Filling that cavern with this place of the divine feminine. Feel how it nurtures you. Feel how it grounds you. It could even be the first time you felt this grounded in your life, or in a while. Have that energy come up to your sacral, to your second chakra, to that your Cusco, that place of power. And feel the feminine settle in there. Filling that cavern. Filling this energy center. And then come up to your third chakra. To your solar plexus, and feel that place of your empowerment being filled with this place of the divine feminine. And then see that energy come up to your heart and feel it blow it open. Feel almost that volcanic eruption inside your heart, burning away any doubt, any feelings of unworthiness, anything that will block you from connecting in to that place of pure love. And feel how that makes your body kind of tingly. Awakening parts of you that may have been dormant for a very long time. And then see that energy come up to your throat, filling that area, filling that cavern. Helping burn away any self-talk, or any words that do harm or cause any form of sorcery against others or yourself, being melted away. Freeing yourself up. Come up to your third eye. A place of intuition. And feel that place of the feminine. And come up to your crown. And then from the crown of your head, see a coil of light going up to the Apus, to the heavens, to Inti Tai Tai, Father Sun, that place of the divine masculine. And begin to source energy down from the divine masculine, coming down through that cord, coming in through your crown, and see it commingling with the feminine, creating that perfect sacred marriage, that connection. Going down to your third eye and feeling that mingling, that bond. Coming down to your throat. Down to your heart. Down to your solar plexus. Down to your sacral. and down to your root. And just sit for a moment and see how you are as above, so below. How you are a conduit between heaven and earth, between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, creating that balance. And sit with it for a moment. See if any are more out of balance, if you need to bring in more masculine or more feminine to create more of a balance within your chakras and within your system. And all you have to do with that is just set the intention. Your body will do it. And while you're in this space, I'm going to read the card. It says, make no judgments. Are you struggling with a person with whom you disagree? Are you feeling threatened or annoyed by the behavior or beliefs of someone near you? Are you putting up with an individual who you feel might be less enlightened than you are? Your soul is alerting you to avoid slipping into the righteous martyr syndrome. So review your circumstances in a more neutral light. Your soul's purpose right now is to refrain from self-righteously judging others. Don't see anyone as wrong simply because they don't share your view. Your soul's lesson is to open your mind and your heart and understand that each person has his own path, his or her own path, but that ultimately all roads lead to Rome. Stop viewing the world through the lens of right and wrong, and don't attempt to force your views upon others. Listen to your higher self, respectfully allowing others to do the same. Who knows? You might even learn something. And when I read that, I honor the card, but I also began thinking, to me, and it still follows suit, because what we see outside is a projection of what's going on inside. But take a moment to really look and see, how do you judge yourself? Because to me, that's what this Cancer Moon's about. That's what Amanda Ellis was talking about today, is what is that voice? What is that self-talk? What is that limiting, judgmental belief that blocks us from knowing that we are God, that we are co-creators, that we are love? What within us creates that separation? What within us, what have we believed we have either done, said, or experienced that says otherwise? Just ask your higher self to maybe pop up a couple things, and they might even be things you've completely forgot about. Because as we've talked about in ceremony before, the irony is that before we're 4 years old, we will create 95% of our belief systems. So think about that for a moment. Before you're 4, 95% of the belief systems that you use, that are like the software through which your body and how you move in the world. I can't even remember anything from when I was 4, let alone have left it to circumstance to create my belief system. So let us allow some of these belief systems that block us, that limit us, to come up so that we can tell, we can nurture, we can be the parent or the guardian angel over that child that took in something that now no longer serves. It doesn't need to be a part of our story. It doesn't need to be a part of how we walk in the world or how we view the world anymore. It's an outdated belief. It doesn't fit in the new paradigm. It's not right or wrong. It's just, is it of light? Does it bring you happiness? If not, only you can let it go. Only you can surrender it tonight or any night you choose. You have that power. So I'm going to drum. So get comfortable. We're going to do our journey work now. So lay down or just settle in. And because of how Zoom works, I can't drum the whole time or you won't hear me. But I'll begin by drumming to get our mind into a different altered space. Then I'll talk some, and then while we're on the journey portion where I'll drum and sing, and then talk everyone back. So from this space, I'd like you to call in your goddess. Ask her to come and be with you. Ask her to help you see parts of you that are ready to be let go of. What are those judgments that either we have for ourselves or for others? What are belief systems that are popping up right now that we know are not part of who we want to be or how we want to be in this world? Also, what do they have to share with us for beautiful gifts to bring into our lives? Beautiful medicine. Beautiful new systems. And you can call in at this time any other ancestor, guide, ancient ones, power animal, whoever shows up right now that is here to be of assistance to you. That is here to help you work your pieces. Knowing that you are protected and held. And the grandmothers are here and they will come through me in a moment. As I completely step aside. Nisa, 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 Gaiweo, Gaiweo, Nisa, 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 Gaiweo, Gaiweo, Nisa, 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 Gaiweo, Gaiweo. I asked you to connect with all the grandmothers that have come with us. See them in this circle. Not only your grandmothers, but the grandmothers of all the ancients, of all the ancestors. See them here now. See all your helpers, all the wisdom keepers. And we will ask you to go, to take the journey with us. See in front of you a pathway to a sacred body of water. We will go to Lake Titicaca. See it in front of you. Start to make your way, and as you walk towards this lake, start to see your flesh start to fall away. Start to see your bones start to fall away. Start to see your fears just fall away. Till you are light. Till you are essence. Till you are your divinity. And sit around the lake. And see cocoa leaves in front of you. And make your offerings and prayers to the lake. Of gratitude. Of thanking it for its assistance. Because in a moment we will look into the lake and the lake will reflect back to us in the pool of water. What is blocking us from accepting our divinity? What is blocking us from knowing our worth? So first, make your offering to the water, thanking her for her service, thanking her for being a pool of reflection in this sacred body of water. And feel her gratitude. Feel her smiling at you, almost like a warm embrace. See her beginning to glisten. And then look over and look in and see your reflection. You may actually see another lifetime. You may actually see a future lifetime. You may actually just see images. But I will drum and give you the opportunity to ask the sacred water, to ask your goddess, to ask these grandmothers that are with you, to ask us for our help. This is such a powerful time, and you're being given the opportunity to really let go of pieces. So I shall drum and give you the opportunity to ask what is up for you to let go of, but also what is there for you to bring in. What gifts, what beauty, what joy. As you are here uninhibited, whatever the word is, from body. When you're here just in spirit. I'll give you a minute more. But as we work with the ceremony, just know that as you're bringing the petals up, we're sitting there and waiting to come up. You still have that ability to look in that reflective pool inside of yourself. And that you can come back to this sacred lake anytime you want. So as you begin to finish up, take a moment to look around and really sense all those grandmothers along the edge of the lake. Look into their eyes and see their wisdom. Look into their eyes and see their beauty. Look into their eyes and see their love. And now, know that that is a reflection of you. And drink that in. You are the wisdom you see. You are the beauty that you see. And you are the love that you see. There's no separation. And we start to make our way back. And as we come back, we start to gather our bones back, our flesh back. And hopefully it's sitting different. It feels a little different. It feels a little lighter. Feels a little springier. Not as bogged down, but more purified, more light. The vibration's different. Your vibration's different. And make your way back to this room, to this time. And when we open our eyes, when you're ready, you'll come up and take a couple of red petals. And they will be the ones that we release with. So any images, belief systems, anything that you saw even throughout the course of your talking tonight that came up to be let go of, let it go. Really, really see it leave every cell of your body. Every organ, every system, blow it, blow it, blow it out and into these petals. And then release them into the water. And then I'll cleanse you with a mesa to get you ready to use the white petals to blow in those parts that you saw that you want to bring in to create. And even if you have no idea what that is, just blow in that prayer of a Ahomatakuyasin, that surrender of praying for your highest intention, your highest good. And also just allow things to bubble up while you're up there. Be inspired. Be renewed. We're at the new moon. It's time of birth and creation. So whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Okay.
Okay. So you can close your eyes and I'm going to clear you. And on your back. Placing this oil on your heart. And through my mesa, we're blowing your heart. The words are new beginnings.
Thank you.
And then you can make the prayer of what you want to bring in.
Thank you.
Okay, Carol. These are for you. For that which you want to release. You're done? Okay. So I'm going to clear you now.
on your back. Placing the oil on your heart. And I'm going to blow into your heart the blessings and the gifts of spirit. And the words of spirit were nurturing and peace. And then you can make your prayer of that which you want to bring into your life and awaken, illuminate. So, for Grace and anyone else that will watch this, as I am releasing mine, you can be releasing yours. Make the prayers of that which you want to bring into our lives. Make a prayer with these roses, of that on the global, of those global pieces that are up, that are so entrenched in the darkness, that are so entrenched in fear, that we make a prayer for the collective, for all those out there that do not know how to make this prayer, that would like to release those parts of themselves. We place this in there for them. For all of our ancestors that are here for their healing, may we make this for them. And the same on that global scale. There's this beautiful light that is beaming on the planet right now. And for any and all that are open to receive, but just don't know the way, may they feel that light. May they feel that love. May they know they are not alone. And for all of our ancestors that are here, to bring that light up within themselves, we acknowledge them and make this prayer. Before we create a circle to complete, see, here's them two cards I talked about. Well, actually, the one, but it says wait, postpone. And then the other one says the ancestors stand behind you. It's basically telling you you know what to do, so do it. So, like I said, it was a very conflicting little reading I gave myself. But what else is there? So, what does the light have to say for us tonight? What did we do? What did we create as a unit? What did we create as a group? What do we have that we can send out there? Put into that matrix for any and all that are open to receive. 7 generations behind, 7 generations ahead. What beauty did we create? It's not ready. Spirit really has a sense of humor. That's like, don't put it out there. It's the freaking card that just says yes. It's just 3 women just sitting there, and it doesn't.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I guess. And I'll read it, but really, seriously, that's what it says. That's when you just gotta laugh because you can't make this shit up, and it's just funny. So, literally, the book says all yeses, and work your light that says don't overthink it, just say yes. I'm going to be a little bugger and ask what's the one that says say yes to? And it'll probably tell me no. Just because Spirit's been having a lot of fun with me lately. Let's see.
Did you ever see Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I did. That's a whole other story. We can get into it another time. I'll tell you after we close ceremony. There is a funny story about Yes, ma'am.
Does that have to do with
No, it has to do with Michael. I took the kids there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No,
Okay, well.
I don't know what the story is.
Tell me it's just yes, I'm pushing it. Okay. You can try to see if you can make it. Birthing a new age. Which is exactly what Spirit was talking about the whole time. So I'll read it. Birthing a new age, dreaming a new world into being. Often our path is exactly the one we don't feel prepared to walk. Walk it anyway. Often what is rising feels far bigger than we could possibly hold. Be a container for it anyway. Often our creations seem to have a wild, uncontrollable consciousness of their own. Birth them anyway. Often what is ours to do is the very thing that most intimidates us. Be courageous and do it anyway. We are birthing a new age. Right now, we are in a transition period between the ages, in the process of allowing the old cycle to fall away and the new one to rise. Like driving in the fog and trusting the road will appear ahead. We need to release old identities and ways that no longer serve us, using our intuition as a compass. You are part of a group of souls who have been reincarnating at significant periods of history, preparing for this exact time. Dreaming a new world into being, Magdalene sisters, daughters of Isis, Essenes, priestess, witches, mystics, healers, seers, artists, midwives, visionaries, guardians of the earth, and storytellers from times past. It is time to give permission and space for what is beckoning within you to be born. We are dreaming a new world into being. So, you can't hold the card, but I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and listen to what I'm saying, and you can say it inside your head to yourself. I am opening to surrendering, put your hand on your heart, actually. I am opening to surrendering to creations that are wanting to be birthed through me. May I be of service in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. Please use me. Please lead me. Please show me the way. And then just say yes. So, we'll stand, put our hands together, and see yourselves in our circle. Because I'll have you guys join in. So let's take a moment and just remember, like I always used to say, because we haven't been in a ceremony like this in a long time, that remember that the goddess that you pulled just doesn't end tonight. She can be with you as long as you're working these pieces. She can be with you from now until the end of time. But know that that relationship doesn't end, or with the ancestors you work with and the grandmothers that showed up. They're here to help us. They want us to know that we're not alone. And at times, especially during this pandemic, we all felt very alone, very isolated, very cut off. But no, that was never the case. And now that we're moving back in the world, they actually want us to remember to niche out that time for that quiet time, to be able to be still, to be able to be with your spirit, to be able to connect in, go out in nature. It's the summer, and be with all the beauty, be with, with the earth, with the sun, with the moon, with the stars, with the cosmos, with the waters. Go drink them in. They all have codes for us. This time was about learning and remembering that all those things that we thought were important, the job, the money, the this, the that, none of that matters. Yes, we need them to be in the 3D world, but we put them to have precedence over what really matters. That's connecting. That's about being gardeners. It's about being earth keepers. It's about being caretakers for Gaia, for Pachamama, for Mother Earth, and connecting in with her. And she has everything we need. So they want us to remember that as we move back in the world, don't forget the valuable lessons that we learned during the pandemic, the gifts that we were given in this time of reset. So just take a moment to just connect in and remember the gift that you got, the seeds that were planted by that breath that came through me and into you, and the words that you were given. So you can either share your word, or you can share a color, or you whatever you want to add to the circle that we will send out to the greater good. And I'll call on you guys when it's your turn, but we'll start with Wade. Yeah, whatever you want.
Blossom. Flourish.
Lessons.
Untold release.
Gratitude and receptive.
Ashley.
New beginnings and courage.
Carol. I am positive.
I see the color violet, and I see the violet flame. So I see gentle release also. I see birthing a new age and humble. Let us learn how to be humble in how we walk in this world and to walk without judgment. So as always, let us see that energy circling in our circle, going between our hands. Feel that vortex of energy beginning to grow. Whereas each one of us shared that gift, it was a gift for each of us. Because when we're in circle, we are all one. So drink in all those gifts that you've heard your brothers and sisters share. Feel how they feed you mind, body, and soul, nourish you. And feel that energy start to grow, creating this beautiful vortex between us. Until it bursts open and we send it out. We send it out to the planet and to anyone on this planet that's open to receive as we share this beauty, this light, this joy, this love. Feeding the hearts and minds and souls of anyone open to receive. And then let's bring it back to the mother. Let's share it with the mother for all that she gives us. All that beautiful energy. And then anywhere in your body that needs it, bring it in. Fan it in. See it awakening you. See it filling up your whole body, recharging you, refilling you. And we will close directions. Sending the spirits home, thanking them for being in service, thanking for all that they did for us, how they held us. To those of the south, the sun is a great service. Thank you for wrapping your blue plate around us and helping us shed our past the way you shed your skin. In one clean swoop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for teaching us beauty and impeccability. Thank you for teaching us how to lay with our new underbelly and be with you and press against you and heartbeat. Feel that connection. Feel that new life. I thank you for any and all healing that has occurred on the physical level. Oh. So this is Dr. Rocco, Mother Jaguar. Thank you for coming and protecting our medicine. Thank you for teaching us how to go over that rainbow bridge. How to have one foot in this world and one foot in the next. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you so much for teaching us how to be fearless. We how to step beyond that fear of death. And know that death is just another door. It's just another, as we let all these pieces of ourselves die off, know that there will be new life. Life that's eternal. And I thank you for teaching us how to be peaceful in this world so that we can learn how to walk on this planet and not leave a footprint. And thank you for any healing that will occur on the emotional level. Oh. The winds of the north, the citizens, a great hummingbird, grandmas and grandfathers and ancient ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for this place of mythic and of magic and of imagery and a stillness of light. Thank you for teaching us how to create this new mythic map so that we have now put out there that grappling hook so that we can now move towards the place of our becoming. Help us to only drink from the sweet nectar of life and no longer source from places that no longer feed us. Oh. The winds of the east, great eagle, condor, aquatine, you fly wing to wing with the great mystery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking us to the mountains that we only dare to dream of. Thank you for teaching us how to fly wingtip to wingtip with great mystery. Oh, and thank you so much for helping us see with eagle vision. Help us to continue to see all those possibilities at all times, so that once and for all, step out of that place of being faded and step into that place of our destiny. Oh. To Mama, great mother, thank you for coming here for the healing of all your children, two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy, the cry, the part and the wicked. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being that true alchemist, taking that from the earth to back to us in the call, but more important, Thank you for allowing us to spiritually practice. Thank you for teaching us how to ground in this energy, how to be nurturing, and all the beauty that you give and all the bounty that you bring. And thank you for every day for showing up, even if we have other we show up. Our nation's great spirit, you are known by 1,000 names and you are unnameable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you for the hearts and minds and souls of everyone in this circle and everyone that will be in this circle in the future that will watch this video and be a part of our ceremony. Ceremony is timeless. There's no, it's not linear. So if someone saw this 10 years from now, they're here right now, we are with them. So thank you for this opportunity to be of service. I'm so humbled and I'm so honored, and thank you for allowing me to step out of my own way, to step out of my own limiting thoughts so that I can be here in the best way possible. I thank you to all the ancestors that have went before me and sacrificed their lives so that I may make this prayer. So before we end, I'll share with you the S-Man story.